Good morning. Happy Sunday. It's actually rain day. Here in usually sunny Queensland, it's absolutely blowing a gale outside and pouring rain, which is actually a really nice change. Reminds me of home, being from the Northern Hemisphere and all. Yeah. So today we are on day 18. Oh my gosh. Mike is joining us. Here we go. Good morning, Mike.
G'day.
Hello. We have just started recording. I might just pause for one moment. So let's get into today's session. So as I said, we're on day 18, Sunday the 13th of December. So we're only just under a week away from the big ceremony on the 21st. So I hope you are really benefiting and getting something from these sessions to bring yourself into balance. So today we're really focusing in on our relationship with the planet, our home, our mother, and overnight I've been thinking and doing a little bit of my own meditation process and really considering where we are at collectively with our relationship with the planet. And it occurred to me that going straight into generating love, there may be a couple of obstacles in the way which I want to overcome as quickly as we can and as smoothly as we can. So it's sort of like occurred to me that perhaps there is a little sadness at where we are today in relation to how we've treated collectively the earth. Perhaps there's some guilt, that perhaps there's a little bit of shame as to, you know, what we've allowed to happen and the destruction and the exploitation that has gone on for many years. Not that we're personally responsible, but perhaps we have participated in some way. And perhaps there's some regret there. So I thought I would bring a little bit of tapping into today's process, and then we can go into the meditation a little clearer. So consider for a moment how you feel about life on earth and existing on earth, and how we have conducted ourselves in relationship with our planet and our home. Our culture, our society, our systems and processes that we have in place, our ideologies and social structures, and our entire belief system around how we live and how we treat and how we hold our energy in relation to feeling a little bit emotional. how we exist in this ecosystem, how we participate in that relationship. Perhaps we take a lot for granted. Perhaps we sometimes abuse, and sometimes we may move about our day with little care or respect. I look at Indigenous cultures who very much are in tune with how they live and how they exist on the planet, and how they hold, you know, nature in the highest respect. And you know, considering my own background and culture way back was very much a nature-based and local land-based culture. So it brings up quite a lot of emotion for me. So I would, you know, naturally, I guess, assume that it causes some disruption for other people as well, especially since we are now focusing purely on the planet and our relationship with her, and perhaps we need to clear some of this. So take a nice deep breath as we do with our meditation process, and get comfortable in your chair. And I will quickly, well, I'll spend a little bit of time, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, running through the tapping process. And you can take it and use it for your own purposes as you want to, for any of the challenges that you might have. You know, there's plenty of information and all sorts of videos across the internet that you can find more information on it if you wish to, or you can obviously talk to me. So we begin, usually there are 3 phases to the EFT process. First phase is the setup phase. So this is where we identify the issue that we want to work on, and in this case I'm going to work with sadness, and you can choose to focus whatever that feeling is for you right in this moment, when you think about how we've conducted ourselves as a collective across the planet, and perhaps the destruction and abuse that has occurred in the past. Now, we are focusing on that being in the past now, because we can conduct ourselves in an entirely different way anytime we choose. And when we remove these negative connections to it, we can actually cleanly move forward, not taking this negative energy with us. So this is the point of this. We want to now be starting to move into a cleaner, clearer future in right relationship with each other and with our planet. So take a nice deep breath. Setup phrase is going to be tapping on the side of the hand is where we begin. I'll just run through the first setup phase. We create a phrasing, something like, even though I feel this sadness when I think about how we live on our planet, I love and accept myself and where I am with this. Okay, now the reason we say that, and the reason we do that, all these points I'm going to show you are meridian end points. So what we're doing is, instead of placing a needle as they would in acupuncture, we are tapping the points to send the energy through and clear the meridians. So the reason we do this setup phrase is we have this subconscious mind that operates in the background, like a computer has its operating system. We're the hardware, and we've got all of this stuff going on in the background that is the software. So we've got this subconscious mind that holds our belief system and our habits and our ways of doing things, and it keeps us in this state of what do you call it? Anyway, it keeps us moving in particular directions according to our belief systems. So now we're actually going to challenge some of those belief systems, and the subconscious mind is very reluctant to change the way it operates. It's very set in its ways usually, and beliefs can be based on very much fear-based perceptions sometimes, and very habitual. So we want to try and separate who we are intrinsically from what we think, feel, believe, and how we operate, which is our subconscious programming. So subconscious mind, when it is of the belief that we are a certain way and that is who we are. It's harder to change it. So when we separate that out and say, even though I feel sad, rather than even though I am sad, because I am is a statement about who we are, even though I feel this sadness about whatever issue you're working on, even though I feel this, I love and accept myself. So we're coming back to who we are intrinsically and separating the problem away from that. So then it becomes easier for us to unlock it and let it go. So that's the reason for that. The second phase, and I'll run through the points now, we focus in on the problem. Now, what we want to do is unravel it and unpack it and have a look at what's sort of there sitting under the surface, perhaps. So it might seem counterintuitive to continue on focusing on what is wrong and what it is that we've got trouble with. But again, going back to that subconscious mind, we spend a lot of time trying to suppress the negative stuff, trying to get away from it, trying to push it into the corner, trying to keep a lid on it. We don't want to look at it. And we can develop this muscle memory of whenever something negative pops up, straight away, the instant reaction is to, can't deal with that right now, let's just push it down. So that becomes the habit again of not looking at, not wanting to acknowledge or not wanting to deal or face negative issues that crop up. And, you know, it can be small stuff, but that habit then expands out into bigger things, and we end up with a bag full of shit that we don't want to deal with. So we spend a bit of time acknowledging the problem, the issue that we are now wanting to look at, and perhaps on, you know, picking at the edges, and seeing perhaps what really is under there. If it's something really big, I do recommend you work with a practitioner, but for stuff that is, you know, everyday stuff, you're quite capable of moving things through. If it's a feeling that's like, you get these feelings in your body and you can feel the energy of it in your body, and you can, if your thinking mind comes up with like a roadblock and it goes, no, I had a client the other day which that nope was really strong. So you will feel it, but it is easy to work through it once you know the technique. So the points are, they're all in the upper body and the hands. So first one is on the side of your hand, that's your setup point. We only need to use that once per session, so we don't go back there after the first round. So the next point is on the top of the head, on the crown. If you imagine a line going from the top of your ears to the top of your head, it's that point there, and can you use the flat of your fingers. Next point is on the inner corner of your eyebrow, like that. You can use a couple of fingers if you want to, just tapping there gently. Usually 7 or 8 taps is enough. Next point is on the corner, outer corner of your eye. These are all meridian points that the channels run right through your body, going to major organs and through. Under your eye is the next one. And if you imagine your orbit going around your eye, it's just around the orbit. Under your nose, between your top lip and your nose, is the next point. If you feel like you need to take a deep breath, that's actually energy moving. Or yawning, anything like that. Crease of the chin is the next point. And we move then down to your collarbone. So if you imagine where your bone goes across there, maybe halfway, slightly below the collarbone, slightly on and slightly below if you use the flats of your fingers. That spongy bit there. Next point is under your arm. So if you imagine you're wearing a bra, you're tapping that point there, a couple of inches down from your armpit. Now the next points I use, not everybody does. You might see, YouTube videos of other practitioners that will just use those points. I tend to use the hands as well because we have meridians flowing out through the fingers. So there's a lot of energy coming out through this part of us. So if you hold your hand up with your palm facing you and your thumb pointing upwards, we're going to tap on each nail bed at the corner, top corner. So if you see that there, top corner of each nail bed, or you can just pinch each finger like that. That's what I do. So you will just go down each finger in order, gently tapping on each one, just connecting with the corner of the nail bed there. And that helps energy to flow out. And the final point that I use is on the back of the hand. So if you look at your ring finger and your pinky, there's a dip between the tendons about 1 centimetre back from the web of your finger. And that's where that is there. It's that little dippy bit. You can hold this and put pressure on it if you want to. If you're in a stressful situation, you can tap it. And it's a nice discreet point to release tension. That will release tension out of your body. If you are in a situation where you don't want to be tapping on the top of your head, if you're perhaps in a meeting or something like that, you can just use the finger points or the back of your hand. So they're the points. So we spend a couple of rounds focusing in on that problem, that thing that we want to work on while we're tapping around those points. So we're making that connection with that negative energy and we're starting to move it through with the tapping motion process. And the final round, the third round, we continue that, but we start to bring a little cognitive sort of switching, if you like, or flipping. Once we start to feel that easing off of the negative energy, once it starts to move on through, we can start looking at bringing positive phrasing in. So, you'll hear me say things like, what if I could let this go now? How would it feel if I could let this go now? What would it mean to my life if I could let this go completely? Things like that. So then we start to really focus in on some positive aspects and what that might mean. I always bring in, there are 3 elements that I like to work with. One is, it is my choice. We always have a choice in how we feel. We can change how we feel. We don't really usually understand that we have a choice. We have emotions come up and we think that, well, that's how I am and that's how I have to live with this. Well, we are actually in control of how we process our emotions. We're not necessarily stuck with them. So bringing in that awareness of having a choice is very, very powerful. I can choose to let this go if I wish to. I can hold on to it as well if I wish to. But the power is in knowing that it is my choice, whatever which way I choose to go with it. It's my decision. The next one is it's time. So if it's something that you've held on to for a long time and you've just lived with for a long time, now might be time to let it go. It might be time to change the way you deal with things, or planetary or universal time. It may be the time to start to take control of how we operate and how we exist in our environment and within these bodies that we have, you know, create the best environment that we can to optimally live in. And the third and final one, which is extremely important, particularly when I'm working with abuse situations or trauma, anything where people have been in that real deep place of fear or threat. Safety. It's safe to be here doing this, and it's safe to let these perceptions, beliefs, feelings, thoughts go. I am safe. So that's the basic technique. So let's get into having a feeling too. I will go with sadness. You apply whatever feeling you have when you think about loving our mother, home, planet, whatever resistance or obstacle that pops up as an emotional response or reaction to fully engaging in loving who we are, where we are, and where we live. All right. So take a nice deep breath. This will be fairly general and fairly quick. You can come back and you can follow the process more deeply later on if you wish to. So even though I feel this sadness for how we've lived up until this point on this planet, I love and accept myself and where we currently are in this time and place. Even though I feel this deep sadness for the situation that we've come to on our planet and how we've treated our Mother Earth, I love and accept myself and where I am in this whole situation. Even though, we do this 3 times usually, I feel this deep sadness for our planet, our home, and how we as humans have treated her. I love and accept myself. You can change it to whatever you want. I accept myself. I acknowledge myself. I'm okay with this. And I'm willing to make these changes. All right. We shortened these phrases down as we move around the points. Just abbreviated versions of that setup phrase. So just follow my lead. All this sadness. Sadness that I feel in my body. This sadness for our planet. This sadness that I feel in my body. Take a moment to feel exactly where that is in your body. It might be in your heart, in your solar plexus. Something in my throat there. Feel into where it feels most intense for you. It might be a presence in your chest. Could be in your head. Wherever it is for you, there's no right or wrong. This sadness. Feeling this sadness now for our mother planet and how we've treated her. Feeling this sadness. The fingers. Sadness for my part in how the planet has been treated. All this sadness that I'm holding in my body. This sadness for the past. Back of the hand. This sadness for all the planet has endured. From we humans. I've been holding this sadness in my body. I feel so sad for what Mother Earth has endured. It's sadness in my body, in my chest, stomach, head, wherever it is for you. It feels so heavy. If it feels heavy for you, tune into that. Could feel something different. Whatever it is for you is absolutely right. All this sadness. Yeah. Sadness in my body. When I think about our beautiful planet. I feel sad. I feel sad. Just take a nice deep breath for a moment. And just feel into whether that has eased or changed anyway. It may have, it may not have. You may need to do a little bit more depending on how strong this feeling is. Generally, we can start to feel a shift after a few rounds. And the differences can be very subtle, or the differences can actually be sometimes quite strong, where you might really feel you need to take a really deep breath and breathe out, or you may need to feel that a sudden yawn comes on, or you might need to feel your body move. It's all normal. Even burping or coughing, it's all energy that's just starting to flow and starting to move, because these negative feelings, these states of being, because we talk about love being a state of being, well, so are all of these negative feelings. They hold their own frequency as well. So love is of the higher frequencies. It's probably one of the highest. Love and gratitude and joy are up there as the highest frequencies. Guilt and shame are the lowest. So they're very dense and heavy, and they can do our body damage if we hold on to them for long times. This is why we have occurrences of major illnesses and diseases, because these real negative energies become entrenched in our bodies, and there's a lot of research and science behind the links, the psychological and emotional links to illnesses and diseases. So just feel whether there's a difference, and whether you had to actually, do something, move, or, you know, to shift some of this energy through now. If not, that's totally fine too. There's no right or wrong. You can keep going a little bit longer if you want to. So we'll move on into the next round, where we will start to bring in some of the positive aspects, and we'll just cycle through the process so that you're now familiar with it and you can play around with it. So just coming back present in your chair again, and we'll just continue. This sadness, you can go as quick or as slow as you like. The tapping, slower usually is a little bit more effective. Fast tapping can just be like a nervous thing. Sadness in my body. Sadness in my chest. How would it feel if it was safe to allow this sadness to move past, move through? What if it's time now to allow this sadness to go? Move forward. I've held this sadness for a long time. What if it's time now for change? What if I can choose to change and allow this sadness to go, to move on through my body? What if I don't need to hold on to it any longer? Perhaps it's time to let it go. What if I need to hold on to this sadness? What if it's giving me something? Whatever that might be. It's safe to look at that. Safe to see this sadness. Safe to acknowledge it. It's safe to acknowledge it. I've pushed it away for so long. And I can make the decision whether I need to keep it or I can let it go. What if I just let it go? What if it's safe to let this sadness go? What if I'm safe? And I can choose to forgive myself and the part I played. In how the planet has been treated. until now. How would it feel to let this sadness go now? Allow my body to release it. Allow my thinking thoughts to release it. Allow all of my cells to release this sadness now. I choose to release it. It's safe to release it. It's time to release it. All of this sadness in my body, in my thoughts and in my feelings, in my energy field. I release it now. Okay. Take a nice deep, deep breath. When you move energy like that through your body, it's always a good idea to drink plenty of water. Maybe if there are any thoughts or feelings that come up as well later on, you might want to jot those down, and you can perhaps have a little play around working with anything else as well. Sometimes we might unlayer one or two other aspects as well. Like I said, guilt and shame and regret could be present, and you can have a little look into how you might want to interact with those states of being as well. So let's move into our meditation. Again, comfortable in your chair. Breathing, engaging with your breath. Feeling that process as it weaves its way through your consciousness, your body, allowing your body to relax. Allowing your thinking mind to rest for a moment for the next few minutes. It's not needed. And as we engage again with our breath, with your eyes closed, traveling into yourself, following this breath to this beautiful deep place where love lives, this beautiful frequency, the colour of that. Bringing this beautiful colour fully into your awareness now. Seeing it, feeling it, smelling it, tasting it. What does love taste like? Allowing the remnants of any negative feelings associated with how we engage with our planet, how we perceive our planet, our Mother Earth, to fall away, dissolve, a little wisp of smoke off into the breeze. Bringing this frequency deep into our breath, breathing that out into your atmosphere, into our atmosphere. Your breath infused with this frequency of love, this beautiful color. As this breath nourishes your physical being, as it travels deep into your internal universe, feeding every cell, deep into the space in your cells, within the space, beyond the space, bringing life and vibrancy to your entire being, your whole self infused with this color. Allow it to travel out into your environment. Connecting with the energy of the planet. Part of this whole beautiful, incredibly complex ecosystem. Bringing this color of love brighter, more vibrant than you've ever done before. Rise up from where you are to a greater vantage point so you can see more of your environment. Above your house, the place where you sit currently. Higher, above your neighborhood. You can see neighbors' houses, cars, people as they move about their day. Know that the infusion of this frequency is traveling to them, through them, for them. Get a sense that any resistance that they may have to receiving this love frequency, for whatever reason they may have, the love can be with them, can stay with them. And whenever they choose to accept it is purely their choice. Whether they realize they have that choice or not. The love can remain doing its work. For each individual, traveling into the surface of the planet. See as this frequency travels across your suburb, rising up a little further, getting this greater perspective. Across your city, across your state, rising further up. Seeing this frequency travel. This colour powerfully generated within you and beyond you. Rising up above your state or your county, above your country. And as you get to this place so far above that you have such a perspective that you can see so far, see as any borders dissolve, any state lines, any country boundaries, see them disappear. Any limitations and restrictions on territory or property that we humans have imposed that keep us corralled, restricted, restrained, needing permission. Allow those boundaries, those invisible lines to dissolve. See the land as one. Feel the land as one, no boundaries. Free. The restrictions that human beings have placed on the land can fall away now. See and feel the energy of this vibration, this frequency of love traveling across, beyond the horizon. Beyond where you can perceive and see. Your intellectual limitation can fall away. You rise up even further into the stratosphere. See the planet now, this beautiful glowing ball, this globe, this sphere. This whole earth, this one being, with one people and one consciousness. All beings as one in life. The energetic field of the entire planet glowing now with this colour. As you see it and feel it travelling, infusing every being. All past trauma can melt away now. All past conflict can melt away now. All past ideas of control and manipulation can fall away and melt in this frequency. Allowing us to move past our human needs, our humanness, our survival state. Bringing you into resonance now with this vibrant being that we are privileged to exist upon. In flow. Allowing your body to pulse at the same rate as the body of the planet. From your place, high above her, feel her heartbeat. Travel around her from your place. Come down a little lower, travel to the places that you wish to go to. The warm places, the cool places, the ancient places. the busy places, wherever you feel drawn to, you can visit. See it from up above, and the beings that may be there, people, animals. Engage with them. Feel them as part of who you are. And they can feel on some subtle level. Feel you as part of who they are. And so that cycle can continue. All existing in this frequency of love. Travel further towards the planet. Land wherever you feel like you want to land. Connecting your feet, your body, with the surface of the earth. Feeling as your feet touch the energy like electricity, creating goosebumps across your body. Feel that aliveness. Imagine you're being pulled by gravity, the magnetic pull of the planet, held a little more firmly to the ground, to the earth, as if you are being hugged and held close. And feel that deep connection as that magnetism draws you and holds you, connects your heart to the heart of the mother planet. Feeling that deep rootedness, that connection, that ancientness. The ancientness of the relationship of our species with Mother Earth. It travels through our DNA. It's part of us. She's part of us. All of that wisdom and knowledge that's been locked away can now start to open up, show itself in your deepest parts of your energetic memory. Lighting up your DNA, your very codes of life. Bringing love, this frequency now, this vibration to this deepest ancient connection. The very truth of our existence. Whether that's in our conscious awareness or not, can infuse now with this frequency of love. This colour transforming And allowing it to travel through you, through the planet, deep into her core and out as it cycles across and through her. Feel that little shudder as she transfers this energy now across to the very far sides of her from where you have chosen to land. Bringing your awareness now to the shift that this frequency is creating. It's inevitable. Know that this shift continues. Feel as this shift continues on as you move your awareness back to where you began this journey today. Traveling back from this chosen place where you landed. Bringing yourself back to your country, your state, suburb. Seeing as all those boundaries are now shifted and falling away. Free land, free space, free planet. Coming back as you travel back into your space, back into your room, back into your place on your chair. Taking a moment now to acknowledge this deep, deep connection with our mother planet. And make this commitment now to continue to remove and dissolve any resistance that we may find ourselves experiencing as beings in her presence. Knowing that all is perfect in timing. And knowing that we are in the perfect place at the perfect time with our commitment and our willingness. Bringing this frequency and this colour back into your body now, feeling it alive and vibrant. Knowing that it's doing its good work out on the planet, within the planet, around the planet, and all of its beings. Allowing your expression of love to be with you unhindered. And as you consider moving into your day, know that this frequency moves with you and is better able to influence your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, your beliefs, and your connections. Have a wonderful Sunday. Enjoy the rain if you're here in Queensland. And I will see you tomorrow.